All right, so the hosts on Fox News decided to actually have a debate about gun reform. And that's surprising because I thought they were kind of unanimous. They were all on the same page when it came to that issue. Apparently not. Apparently there's some disagreement internally. So let's watch and we'll break it down as we go here.
Great to have you with us today. Here we are again, right?
It was amazing to me. Here we are again, and within minutes, we're hearing about the guns are the problem, the assault weapons. Go to your corner and let's play politics. Before we even knew the facts, we watched the President of the United States moments ago before you get on. Make sure it's clear. I want my assault weapons banned, and if you don't get it, you know who's to blame. Okay, to me, was really inappropriate yesterday, along with his remarks about ice cream. But especially today, when you know this person's amassed 7 guns, rifles. I mean, this is an arsenal ready to go. Their problems is with their family. For you to have 7 guns and rifles in your house and be that obviously unhinged and unbalanced, have these murder capabilities, and you're going to allow these people out and about, I really don't think we should be debating gun laws, which were just passed bipartisan gun legislation less than a year ago.
I disagree. First,
yeah, okay, but that's so funny because he's making the case for a red flag law as he's arguing against new gun laws. Like, you just made the case for having a national red flag law. Like, this woman's own family was like, hey, you shouldn't have weapons. You're not balanced enough for it. You have an emotional disorder, etc. That should be grounds to confiscate the weapons legally. But it wasn't, and they own 7 guns. So you can't argue against new gun laws as you're effectively making the case for a national red flag law.
Aside from grieving, Martha, the breathtaking, majestic, awesome courage of those cops should be the blueprint from now on. It should have been before this, but from now on. Think of Uvalde. Think of all of the places where the cops hesitated.
Parkland.
Or where Parkland, where bureaucracy got in the way.
Yeah, the Uvalde cops, they should all be in prison for not responding, not getting in there quicker. They should all be in prison. For these cops to respond quickly is, thank you for doing the job that you were hired to do.
Let's go. That's what I want from the cops on my beat, and I just think that the job they did was just awesome. In terms of the weapons, what about Tennessee with a constitutional carry? This person could legally assemble that arsenal of 7 weapons, including 2 AR-15s and a sawed-off shotgun. For God's sake, I mean, is the Constitution, to me, if the Second Amendment shines on this person accumulating that arsenal, then shame on the Second Amendment.
Really?
I think the assault weapons ban should be in place.
Take the guns away from people that are using it responsibly because this unhinged lunatic doesn't.
There's been 130 mass shootings this year.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of these numbers. I mean, we have a serious problem in this country, and we do see these weapons being used in these situations. We have a couple of things going on here, right? We have a 30% have seriously considered attempting suicide rate among young women in this country. This woman told a friend on a text message that she was going to kill herself, that it was all going to be on the news. We have a serious problem going on in this country, and it has many layers to it. But if your child or your family member, she's 28 years old, is upstairs building a bomb in their bedroom,
nothing you can do about it. I mean, you can't, the parents have to do something about it. We can't stop these people. I can't get into millions of houses.
If my young...
He's doing the thing. He's doing the Onion article. Nothing we can do to stop this, says only nation where it regularly happens.
My 28-year-old is building a bomb upstairs. I'm going to call the police and say, there's something going on with my... There's also no mental institutions. We've talked about this a lot. People who are emotionally disturbed, their families have such little recourse. I remember the mother of the Sandy Hook shooter tried to get him committed, essentially, to a mental institution.
Andrew Lanza.
We need to have places where families can turn to when they have no more control over their young person in their family. And yes, we need to raise serious questions about whether this person should be able to purchase these guns.
But here is...
You don't think that this person, if you're under the medical care of an emotionally undisturbed person, you should be able to go buy these guns?
Of course but I can't stop it. I mean, you can't ask legal gun owners to stop it. In the background check, if that doesn't come up, if you can if you can go to a therapist and the therapist doesn't mark you down as somebody that should not arm guns,
so who needs to be responsible then? The therapist should lose their license if they allow signing that kind of permit.
How about the gun store salesperson? If you're going to the shop and you're buying an AR-15, and then the next day another AR-15, then the sawed-off shotgun, then the pistols. At some point, there is a responsibility.
But
these are not cartons of milk you're selling. These are weapons of destruction, mass destruction. I mean, children now, the leading cause of death, children 1 to 19, is guns, is shooting. We have to wake up as a nation. We have been badgered. We are running scared from the constitutional
with the background
nonsense.
check, that should come out. If it doesn't come out, there's something wrong with the background check.
I agree.
And if the psychiatrist doesn't report it, I can't make a psychiatrist do their job. I can't make a...
Yeah, but like we said, members of this person's own family said she's not balanced enough to have weapons. So that should have been enough to confiscate all the weapons. Now, they thought she didn't have any more because they thought she owned one and then sold it. And that wasn't the case. She actually had 7. But that should be grounds enough to search and confiscate. So, I mean, it should really be like a one strike you're out type policy when it comes to guns. The standard should be very high. You know, you should have a pristine record to be able to own guns.
Do their job. But going ahead and saying the problem is the gun, I think that's a really short-term answer.
No, nobody's saying that, Brian. We're saying it's a number of factors here, but you can't leave the gun out of the picture either.
But what do you want to take away guns from people that are responsible?
There are more guns than people in America. There are more guns in the only nation on earth, more guns than people.
We're doing something wrong. We're doing something majorly wrong. What do you think it is?
What do I think it is?
Yeah, what is it?
This is a person whose family has allowed him or her to be unleashed on society. How are you supposed to release it? The Buffalo shooter at 17 years old. The parents don't step in. Turns 18. The background's expunged. Goes up and goes, I'm going to start killing black people in Buffalo. Why is that? Is that the gun owner that's selling it? So they made amendments to the gun laws that says if you're under 17, you have problems. You have that carried over to 18. That's what John Cornyn did with Democrats.
I think if George Santos and get that pin, he wants an AR-15 pin to make it the national gun, the most popular weapon in the United States. What the hell is it used for, other than killing people? You don't shoot birds with an AR-15.
I don't know.
You don't go target shooting with an AR-15, generally speaking.
Look, I think that...
No, that's not true. There are plenty of people who go target shooting with it.
Your point about the family, we have a serious breakdown of families in this country, of responsibility, of raising children, of watching each other, of...
I don't know about this point here. This point is a little yikesy. It's not a... I think they were right for the most part of this interview where they were like, yeah, there is a real issue with guns in this country. And we're far too permissive and there's not nearly enough rules and the rules aren't enforced properly. And that's more of what the issue is.
People need to be able to report something if they feel that their child's in this kind of danger.
And you got to harden the school.
Harden the school, 100%. Every school in this country should have an armed officer. We know there were...
Yeah, but again, like other countries don't have armed officers at their schools and they don't have school shootings. So it's really not that. I mean, look, given the state of affairs that we have in the country right now, I wouldn't be opposed to having some sort of armed guard at every school, right? But that's because the cat's already so far out of the bag with guns that there's no going back type stuff. So, like, I'd be willing to make that compromise, but the other part of that compromise has to be better, more intelligent gun reform.
When that didn't help much, as Geraldo pointed out. But we need to have a comprehensive solution. It sounds so banal, I mean a comprehensive solution, but this can't happen to these children. It's
we
horrific.
can't let it become something that we shrug off.
We already have, because you know what?
Yeah, she's right. We already have. The only reason why this one became a big story is 2 reasons. Number one, it was in an elementary school, right? And so whenever you have a shooting in an elementary school, it's going to be a big deal because it's like the epitome of innocence because it's children and it's just beyond grotesque. That's one reason. And the other reason was the shooter is a rare instance where the shooter is trans. So there's something like unique about this one, and that's why people are talking about it. But if it wasn't for those 2 factors, it would have just been another day in America, right? Another day in America. Imagine it's a high school instead of an elementary school, and it's a white cis male shooter Yawn. That'd have been in and out of the news in half a day, not even. It would have been quick. It wouldn't have been as big of a story. No doubt about it.
Going to talk about it in 3 days from now. And so that's where we
Facts.
are as people in this country.
We'll remind everyone every time it happens.
That's cold comfort right there. Every time there's a new one, we'll say, this is bad, and then we'll allow another one to happen, and then we'll say, this is bad again. I don't know, man. But look, interesting back and forth. It's surprising that Fox News is debating this as much as they are, because I definitely would have thought they'd all be more on the same page of, like, you know, run cover for our gun culture, but they didn't. It was a more fruitful debate than I thought it would be, and in fact, it was kind of outnumbered on the... Brian Kilmeade was outnumbered. He's the, pro-Second Amendment guy, and you had two people who were a little more critical there, so there you have it. Interesting back and forth. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.